Hi guys, it's Victoria, and today I'm doing my 10 best baby products. Now, for those of you that don't know, I have a daughter that's almost 4 months old, so I'm just going to go over the things that she really liked in the first couple months of her life, and hopefully you guys can find some of these tips useful. I know I binge watched a million of these videos when I was pregnant, and this video will be followed by a 10 products I really didn't like video. But definitely feel free to comment what you thought about some of these products if you used them, and what products you liked, what products you didn't like, because I definitely want to hear about it. And I will also be showing you guys a video of her room just so you can see kind of where things are. It's not going to be like a full tour, just a quick, like, here's what her bed looks like, here's what her dresser looks like, things like that. But let me know if a full tour of her room is something you guys would be interested in as well. Alright, so the first product that she has that I really, really enjoyed, I didn't even know this was a thing, but the nurse at the hospital gave us one, and it was amazing. It is a Velcro swaddle. I don't know how. It might be because I have terrible swaddling skills, but my daughter would break out of every traditional swaddle we put her in. Her hands would automatically be out. She'd have the startle reflex, which if you don't know what that is, when babies are really little, they startle themselves constantly, so they like jump, and it wakes them up. And she would just break out of the swaddle, and so that reflex was constantly waking her up, and she wasn't being stopped by the swaddle. So they have these Velcro swaddles, and the most popular one is Halo, and that's the one we use, but you can definitely find other ones on the internet. But it's this like little sack that you put them in, and you zip it up, and then you put one arm in, put this over, put another arm in, and Velcro it tight. This way the baby can't break out, they stay snug and cozy during the night, the reflex doesn't startle them awake, and they can get some sleep, and therefore you can get some sleep. Because let me tell you, you want sleep. You know, when I was pregnant, they told me that you would regret every nap you didn't take when you were pregnant because you would think about them when you have a baby. And I'll tell you right now that at 3 in the morning with a crying newborn, you're not thinking about the nap that you should have taken when you were 4 months pregnant. Because that sleep would not make you feel any better right now. But amazing. Love this. Because it kept her little arms tight. She couldn't break out of it. So we got a little bit of sleep. Another product that helped as she got older for sleep was the Baby Merlin Magic Sleep Suit. This thing, I know, looks ridiculous. The baby looks like a marshmallow in it, but I love it. So my daughter's a little big for her age. Right now she's almost 4 months and she's almost 16 pounds. These are for 12 to 18 pounds. So definitely not until your baby's a little bit bigger. But her startle reflex had gone away for the most part, and she had started showing signs of rolling. Well, you can't swaddle them when they're showing signs of rolling, because then if they roll over, they can't roll back, and their face is just stuck in the mattress. So we got this as like a transition out of the swaddle, because we tried putting her in bed in just like pajamas, and she couldn't sleep. She kept getting distracted by her hands. It wasn't even that she had a startle reflex anymore. It was that she was just too entertained. So then we got her one of these. And she can still move in it. She can move her arms like halfway. She can't get them to her face, but she can get them halfway up. Legs halfway up. And she can move her head freely. So this suit is like wearing a comforter. If you put a nice down comforter on as a suit, it would be this. She sleeps so well in this. We were getting 5-hour nights maximum when she was about 2.5 months, which is about when we introduced this. As soon as we put this on, it went up by 2 hours. Now, this video is not sponsored in any way. This suit works for a lot of kids, but there are definitely kids it doesn't work for. These are just my honest reviews of things that worked for me, and I wouldn't know that this existed if I hadn't watched another mom's review. So just putting this out there. It worked really great for naps, too. She puts herself down. And I honestly wish they made one like this in my size, because I have horrible insomnia issues and I feel like this would help. If not, at least I'd be cozy. Continuing on the baby sleep trend, because believe me, the most important thing, other than your child being healthy, is your child being asleep so you can be asleep. So, sleep and play. It's like little baby footy pajama thing. They spend a lot of time in them during the day too. It's just comfy, easy. The ones that we really love are from Carter's, and let me tell you why. They have this double zip thing. So there's a zipper in the foot right now, and there's a zipper up top. So at the middle of the night, if baby needs to be changed for any reason, you can leave the top button top zipped and just unzip the bottom. This way you can change their diaper without getting them completely undressed or completely unzipped and cold, and hopefully that'll preserve those good, warm, sleepy mood feelings that you want your baby to have, because you don't want them to wake up fully in the middle of the night and then have trouble going back down. So we absolutely loved these. And we still do. We have them in her new size because she's now in 3 to 6 month clothing, and we already have some for when she's 6 to 9 months. Word of advice, mom to mom, do not get the pajamas with the snaps. There's a lot with buttons. You know what's fun at 3 a.m. when you have a nightlight on in the room and no other light because you don't want your baby to fully wake up? Finding what snap goes with what. Get the zippers. At 3 a.m. you will hate yourself if you have the snaps. It's a nightmare. Because a lot of the pajamas, the snaps don't even line up. There's weird little gaps that stay just so that it's easier for you to get to the diaper to check if it's wet or not. There's a little hole so you can see the wetness indicator that a lot of diapers have. And because of that, the buttons line up weird. And that's hard at 7 p.m. fully rested with the light on. So do yourself a favor, get something with a zipper. And if you really, really want to do yourself and your baby a favor, get the Carter's one with the double zipper. Okay. Next item, it's not so much baby sleep, it's more of baby comfort. So when your baby's in the womb, they hear your blood rushing all around them, and it makes the shh sound. And when babies get overstimulated, overtired, overcranky, it's commonly told to make that sound to calm them down. However, if you sit there and make the shh sound continuously, it's going to get hard, and your baby will cry for longer than you will be able to keep up that sound. So they make these. They're called the baby Shushers, and I thought this was the stupidest thing ever. I didn't buy it. I thought this was silly, that my child wouldn't need it. And then we tried to do the shh thing, and we couldn't do it. So this goes, you can control the volume, and you can kind of control the time. There's a couple different settings. And it'll just make the shh sound continuously on repeat. And then what I love about this is it fades out. So the time between the shh sounds gets longer, and then it stops. That way it's not just an abrupt stop that'll startle your child awake if they were just starting to fall asleep. So this is really good if they're trying to fall asleep and they're just really overtired, or if they're just cranky or overstimulated or something upset them and they can't seem to calm themselves down. Because babies, especially newborn babies, can't self-soothe. So this at least is something to help them and help you. Another thing that we really liked along the baby comfort category is this pacifier syringe thing. When your baby's little, for whatever reason, maybe they got vaccines and they had a reaction, or maybe you want to give them gripe water, which helps with gas. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't believe that I, as a business major, have any business telling you about medical products and what worked for us or whatnot. Just talk to your pediatrician. But if you have to give them anything, trying to just put a syringe in their mouth and slowly pushing things out is a nightmare. They dribble it out. First time my daughter took Tylenol, she stained her onesie red, and we didn't actually know how much she got in her. This way, if you put one of these in, they can't dribble it out because their mouth is around the pacifier, and you can just slowly push it in. Another thing we didn't like with just regular syringes is my daughter would choke. Like, she would breathe in at the wrong time and it would go in her lungs and she'd choke and we'd feel like awful, awful parents. And this was a miracle because she stopped choking because she was controlling when it got in her mouth with a tiny bit of help from us. So just in preparation for teething or vaccine days, if giving medication is something you plan to do, I would definitely get one of these. Another thing that we really liked was the Hatch sound machine, nightlight clock, and I think it does other things. Oh, it's also an audio monitor. So we just use it for the sound machine and the clock right now because sound machines are helpful for babies to fall asleep just because it blocks out outside noise. I know it's a little controversial, not everybody's into using a sound machine. Totally you. Do whatever you think is best. But we used one, and we love this one because you can control the light and the sound with your phone. So if we're in another room and we need to come in here for something, we can turn up the light a little bit without turning the whole room light on. When she gets older, this can be a night light, and it's a sound machine to help her fall asleep. And we can take it to other places so she'll fall asleep at like my in-laws' house or anywhere like that. But I just like that it's something that she can use when she's older because you can turn it into a lot of different colors. So when she's older, she can use it as a night light or just as a cool mood light for her room. It has a clock on it. She can have it play a certain sound. So it's not something that I'm going to have to get rid of when she hits the toddler stage or the child stage. It's something that was worth the money I invested into it. And I really, really enjoy this product, and I would highly recommend it to you. I told you, unscripted, so giant bun in the back mess. But yeah, this is definitely something we really loved that we would highly, highly recommend. Another thing that I would recommend, and I'll put up a picture, is a bouncer. My daughter doesn't like swings. I'm not really sure why, but the bouncer we can at least put near us, like if we're trying to eat or something, and she can just sit there and play with the toys and look at us. And I really enjoyed that product as well. Everyone told me to get a swing, get a swing. Well, my daughter hates swings. She cries. We had to sell our swing. So this is more of just a chair, and that way she can just sit there with us and be distracted by her own. We had such a hard time finding a rocking chair because I wanted a traditional looking rocking chair. I didn't want like a lazy boy. So I love our rocking chair, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot of other ones that we saw online. So I'm going to link that one down below. And now lastly, the changing table topper. So we didn't get a changing table. We got a dresser topper that we could use as a changing table. I can show you. And that way, we didn't have a giant piece of bulky furniture to get rid of when she grew out of it, as well as her room's not that big, so it didn't make sense to crowd it. So we got that, and it has a little seatbelt so we can buckle her in, and it has little toys for her to look at, but most importantly, it is rubber or silicone or some kind of material like that, and you can just wipe it. I cannot imagine having a cover on a changing topper thing or a changing table that you have to wash, because my daughter, when she was like a week or two old, would pee on everything every time we changed her. And when she has like a diaper blowout, it gets on things when you take it off. So do yourself a favor. Get something that you can just wipe clean with a baby wipe and move on with your day, not something you have to then do laundry about. We also have a play gym, which is beautiful because when your child starts to notice things, you can just put them in there and they'll lay there and play with it and play with the toys and not need your constant attention. And now that she's older, she's grabbing things a little bit. So the only thing I will say about that is I didn't want one with lots of lights and flashing lights and music and things because I did not want all of the development to be taken over by technology, which makes me sound like a crazy person because technology is everywhere, and I know that. When she's this little, I want her mind to work. I want her to develop those skills. So we got one that didn't have any lights, any sounds, that just one that she could look at and touch and grow with. And that's it. Those are my top 10. I plan to follow this up in about a couple days with a top 10 bottom with the bottom 10 baby items that I didn't like that were suggested to me, and I just was not a fan. And that video will have a giveaway. So definitely make sure you subscribe and like this video and have the notifications on so you can be entered into next week's giveaway.